I missed you. Oh, well, Craig's in the room. It's been a while. How you been?
It's more heartfelt than Zip.
Huh?
I think you really miss us.
I'm not comparing anything to anybody. I'm just trying to be me. So, going to Chicago this week, that's been a very difficult place for us over the years to play. Not just the weather or the venue, it's their football team. They're built to be a tough team. They're built for that venue, that type of atmosphere, cold and maybe rainy, snowy, whatever it's going to be on Sunday night. And they're a good football team. They're well coached. They've got Mr. Coleman, number 29, who's kept me up the last 2 weeks now. Unfortunately, I've had him in my brain for a couple weeks. Great punt returner, probably the best one we faced this year. We got to protect. We got to get off blocks. Our gunners got to show up on our punt team. We got to go make a bunch of plays against this fine young returner. And obviously we have our work cut out for us in all the phases, but that's probably their best phase is their punt return unit.
Mike, over the years, that service, where would you rank it?
Well, in terms of, they used to keep it long. I don't know if it's long anymore. I know last year I think it was fairly, short, fairly common. I don't know if they did that for a competitive advantage for whoever maybe our running back was or whatever. I don't know what the case was there, but it's a little bit at night. It's usually a little bit slick. Our guys got to be ready for that. I don't know if it's going to be rain, snow mixture, whatever it's going to be, windy. We've had cold, windy weather here. We practiced outside yesterday. I took the guys out on Monday. They weren't very happy about that, the punter and kicker, and got them to kick and punt a little bit there. But they performed well in that atmosphere, in that type of conditions, and hopefully that'll bode well for Sunday night.
What have you heard or seen as far as the surface this year? It doesn't seem like there's been any problems.
I don't think there's any problems. No, I think their ground crew does a phenomenal job. They always have. I know it's very difficult. I think they replaced the sod maybe a week or so ago. You guys probably know that more than me right now, but I think they've always done a good job there. It's never been bad conditions, even late in the year. I think they do a good job. I know they have high school games there sometimes later in the year, probably playoff time like right about now. But they've always done a good job with it. I don't think it's ever really been a major issue.
Mike, does Ameer Abdullah enter your mix as a kickoff returner? Or
absolutely.
Could he be the guy? I mean,
he could be the guy. We have to wait and see if he's going to be active or not. Obviously, that's up to Coach Zimmer and what he wants to do with the roster. But if we had his services available, I would like to use him as a kickoff returner. And I think he'll fit right into what we want, at that position. And the big thing for Ameer is obviously ball security. We continue to preach that to him. That's one of the issues he's had in the past. And I don't think it's been a major issue for him, but like any young returner, and to me, he's still a young returner, you got to really emphasize how important that ball security is, and along with running the returns that we need him to run and perform how we need him to perform.
What do you like about him as a
return? What impresses
I'm gonna go left to right now.
What impresses you the most
That's your
about
right.
his return capabilities? When I know that 2015 season he led the league.
Yeah, he was really good coming out. He was our #1 returner we had ranked coming out of Nebraska that year. The thing that Ameer does, he's got what I like to call it, and you guys have heard me say it before, running back vision. I mean, he's a running back that has that type of vision as a returner. Not every returner has that. I think the good ones do. And the ones who are just so-so don't have it because they can't foresee what's coming. They can't see it. And I think Ameer has that ability, and he's got quickness and he's got strength, and his ability to hit the seam. He's got courage, and I think you got to be a tough guy to be a kickoff returner and hit those seams that are going to be there. But hopefully they're there, but they're going to close up pretty quick. And he has the ability to hit those seams before they close up. So I think he brings a lot to the table at that position.
Is there what kind of adjustment is that for a guy to just be plugged in and learn the way you guys block it or whatever? Is it pretty seamless?
I met with him last night for a little bit, and we talked about it. We're going to install a kickoff return today. I want to continue to meet with him and kind of be in his ear, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, just to show him a little bit of tape. I asked him what he's been successful at, what he's been comfortable at before when he was in Detroit, and even in college for that matter. And so we've had good discussions, and I think it's not, the mental part of it's not going to be hard for him. It's just understanding how we block, what our schemes are. We're not very complicated. We just got to go out and do our job and give him those schemes that he needs. And like I said, a guy like him, because he's got such great running back type of vision, he should be able to pick that up a lot quicker than other guys would.
When you guys were making the decision to pick him up, how much did the special teams evaluation play into the decision to play them on waivers? I talked to George Payton about it, and they obviously knew how I felt. George went back and looked at my ranking before he even came and talked to me. Before we had our discussion, he went back and looked back at the comments and ranking I had him when he was coming out of Nebraska, and obviously that was a big sell for our guys. But he brings a lot to the table as an athlete. We might use him on other phases for that matter. I mean, if he's your third running back, you need him on other special teams, which he has not done.
So we need that. That's where the training part comes in more so than as a kickoff returner, but as be on the punt return unit, be on the kickoff unit, be on the punt team unit. We're already training him as a gunner. He had 1 rep as a gunner in Detroit. Didn't look very good, but I don't know how much experience he had prior to that in terms of practicing and meeting time with him. But we're going to keep working with him. You don't take an athlete like that and just have him stand next to me on the sideline. You want him out there as much as possible.
Mike, just a little off topic, but will it be tougher to rank those college guys now with everybody fair catching kickoffs? Or a lot of teams?
Yeah, kickoffs, sure, absolutely. But I think the good ones are still going to say, hey, if we have that opportunity, let's go to return them.
Yeah.
So you'll know the good ones that are out there. And I mean, if any college coach, obviously they want to win, they're smart coaches. If you got a guy like Ameer Abdullah or a guy like Mike Hughes coming out of Central Florida last year, you're not going to fair catch kickoffs. You're going to let those guys return every one that you can, even the ones that are in the end zone if you're good blocking. So in that regard, I guess the middle of the road guys maybe, and maybe the punt returners, that's the ones that are tough for us to evaluate because of the the line drive punts, the rugby punts, the high short punts. They roll out 15 yards and then punt it downfield. I mean, those are the punters and returners for that matter that are hard to evaluate that way.
What's the worst you've seen the field at Soldier Field, the grass?
I don't remember. I know we've had a few years ago, maybe 3 years ago, it was snowing, but the turf always held up really good. Like I said, I think their grounds crew does a really good job. I know it's got to be difficult in a cold weather city. It's like Green Bay, they do a good job there too. I mean, sometimes late in the year you play them, they might have to spray paint some of the field green to make it look good for TV, but for the most part, I don't remember the field ever being really bad.
The more you play there, do you get a better sense of how much the wind is affecting things on one end of the field versus another, or is it always just so unpredictable?
It's a little bit unpredictable, but what we do, and I have the specialists do it as well, they study the tape from all the games. There's a certain direction that Cody Parkey likes to kick off. When it's right to left from our bench, our tunnel's right here, here's our bench, right to left, he'd like to kick a certain direction. Left to right, he likes to kick a certain direction. So there are tendencies that our kicker, for kickoff purposes, can pick up on. For our punter, you can study the punter doing the same thing. That O'Donnell, when he's going one direction from the right hash, he likes to kick a certain direction, and left hash another direction, whatever the case may be. So we study all those tendencies. Don't really want to overthink those or over-evaluate those, and then on Sunday evening we'll go out there and make our own adjustments from there.
Do you still have the charts that Walsh and Locke used to keep, and the wind charts?
I'm sure they're in my file somewhere. Yeah, you talking about the old TCF charts when they did that?
Oh, was that TCF? I thought they did it for Soldier as well.
They probably did it for all the fields, yeah, but I just remember specifically the TCF fields. They went down there and did all these crazy studies, whatever.
Mike, what do you tell your kicker as he's hitting the upright like 3-4 times?
Knock on wood, I've never had that
move
happen.
It in a little?
Put it right down the middle, maybe? I don't know. That kid's a good kicker. Cody Parkey's a very good kicker. We had him highly evaluated coming out as a free agent this year. It might be one of those deals like Mason had a few weeks ago in the Dome at Detroit. I mean, you just have one of those bad days, and I think everybody has one of those bad days. I hope Cody has back-to-back bad days to help us, but he's a good young kicker, and a guy like him, I'm sure they're going to stick with him. He's got a lot of talent. And it might be more mental, and I actually watched that game. I was trying to get out of a honey-do list on Sunday, so I was watching as much of that game as I could. And I saw him. What's that?
Research.
Yeah, exactly. But I was watching that game, and I couldn't believe it. I think he was trying to force the issue. I think he was thinking too much, and once he missed the second one, it was really getting in his head a little bit. And that's hard. It's hard to bounce back from stuff like that in that game.
Has Bailey restored like a sense of calm, or has he missed just enough to keep you a little nervous?
Well, I mean, I think with Dan, he's such a veteran, and he comes in, he doesn't overthink things. He's just going to go out and do his job. And the more he works with Kevin and Matt, the better he's going to be. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do, to come in. Week 2, Matt was brand new as well. So now we got 3 guys working. I'm not making any excuses, but you got 3 new guys working together. It takes a while to get that sense of I don't know if calm is the right word, but sense of confidence that everything's going to be exactly how you want it, and like a guys that would be working together for 2, 3, 4+ years. But we're getting closer. Matt's working really hard as a holder. Kevin's been obviously a solid snapper, and his finger's much better. He's been more consistent. And then once Dan feels more confidence in those 2, and then in himself, that's going to help him become a more consistent kicker for us. But I think he's done a great job so far for us.
Is there any miss that's worried you? I mean, it seemed like the one in New York, the wind just stopped it.
Wind stopped it, he hit that one. He wouldn't change the way he hit it. He told me that. I think he's told you guys that as well. I think the only one was maybe the Philly, the shorter one when they hit the left upright. And there may have been other factors other than just the kick there. So, you know, I think Dan's a pro. I mean, we went out yesterday and I think he hit all but one. The wind blew it, hit the left upright. He was like 15 to 16 outside yesterday. He had a great day. So today we'll go outside again. He'll warm up inside and come outside, and we'll have a field goal period with our whole unit today, and then we'll kick some more on the side and be ready to go.
Now that they actually use Bryce Callahan on punt return more than the one time they did last year, I mean, do those trick plays, do you go back and watch that one? Like,
yeah, the
that
funny thing, you can ask our guys, I'm still mad about that one, obviously. That we had talked about that every time we played Chicago. We talked about that play, because they had run that type of play 2 other times in the last 4 years, and we show them those clips all the time. And Saturday night before that game last year in late December, we talked about it, fellas, I mean, they're going to pull out all the stops here. We got to be ready for everything, including this type we call a bluff play. And you know, Bryce did a great job. And, you know, snuck off the sideline, did a good job. We should have seen it. We were prepared for it. We have practice against it, and our guys got to execute better. But they've already done it this year too, and you can tell their special teams coordinator. I know, because it's a new special teams coordinator, but they've already tried one. They tried one early in the year. In a +50 situation, he just kind of drifts over. And we got to do a great job of finding the football. We got to do our job, and you know, we got to snap, we got to punt well, we got to protect well, we got to cover well, we got to find the football, we got to take away punt fakes. We got caught against Detroit, a fake that we had practiced all week, and our right end didn't do a good enough job of setting the edge. We should have stopped it. So those are the things that frustrate me when you cover them over and over and over again and you don't stop them. That's hard for me as a coach to watch, but it's ultimately my responsibility. And you know, apparently we didn't cover it enough, and so we've covered it all week, and we're going to keep covering it the rest of the year, and we're going to stop anybody's fit, hopefully, and not only by scheme, but by just doing our job and doing our techniques right and understanding and having great awareness of what the play is.
I got a given week, how often do you spend on just trick plays or kind of the
It depends on the coach. You know, this coach coming from Cleveland, he had a lot of trick plays, surprise on sides. He's done it all, and we need to be prepared for all that type of stuff. So other coaches don't do it as much, but you still have kind of an awareness. You never want to forget about that, because you never know when they might throw a fake punt, fake field goal, surprise onside kick, whatever the case may be. So we're always aware of that. But when you play certain coaches, you're specific in covering those type of plays. We good?